So, Melinda, a question here is about this blended family situation. A lot of blended families deal with co-parenting competition, don't they? So,
We
let's
do.
talk about that for a minute. What's going on there?
Well, when you are a blended family, you kind of compete against your exes. There's a competition there. And sometimes the kids can be the best of friends. And then when they become part of a blended family, there's a competition there. They're competing for time and space and their things. My things don't necessarily mean they're your things. Or now some kids have to share rooms, which were never part of the deal. Parents have to share others other parents. Now you're sharing not just your ex-spouse but their ex-spouse. So
Right.
yeah, it
Yeah.
breeds a whole level of competition most of us don't even recognize. It's
Sure. But a lot of blended families recognize it because they're living it. And we already know, have
right.
established there's what, 100 million
Yeah.
families that are
Yep.
in that situation. So it's something that really needs to be addressed. So I'm so glad that you really help people work through that because it's not really about winning, is it? It's about our kids being loved and cared for and knowing that they're important and have value.
Right. It's exactly. And it's also about the strategies that you can pull together to
Mhm.
eliminate the competition and getting on the right game plan. Like any great team knows, you have to have a game plan to succeed. And so
Yeah.
being on the right game plan will eliminate competition as well. So
Mhm.
the strategies, I think, going into a blended family are huge.
Huge because it's so serious. The impact of this co-parenting competition can be disastrous. Like, give us some examples.
Well, when you have a competition, kids competing against one another, that's when you start bringing in I'm going to play one mom, I'm going to play mom against dad, or one parent against the other parent. And now you're
Ooh,
fueling a fire. You're actually bringing up a fire from within that can destroy families and
for sure.
relationships. Yeah. Yep. It, it can be a very dangerous game to play.
Mhm. Yeah, so we really wanna nip that in the bud or help parents kinda settle into some new rules, new habits, new behaviors around that kinda thing. So help us understand what can a family do in this situation where they recognize, "Uh-oh, there's a little bit of competition here."
Well, knowing that, you can start strategies as far as like between parents, you and your
Mhm.
ex, you can start a notebook and use that as your communication or have a shared app. Sometimes that works as well. There's
Yeah,
also
'cause sometimes we can't communicate in those moments. It's just so tense or there's such like, there's unfinished business maybe that kinda comes up, right?
no, exactly. Like
Mhm.
we think when we divorce a partner that the rules are set. But then when you bring in a new partner and now it's a blended family, all those
Right.
rules change. The ex knows how to push all those buttons, just like your competitor does on the field. They know all
Mhm.
the buttons to get you to react. And it's understanding where that's coming from that will
Mhm.
help us take a deep breath,
Mhm.
start to go, oh yeah, thank you for asking, but you're not
Sure.
going to put me there today. There's just different ways of looking at it in order
Right.
to bring the family, get that competition out of there,
Yeah.
you know.
So, conversations around it's always about communication, and I really like what you said about using apps or maybe a journal to communicate. Because
Right.
sometimes, like we said, there's some energy around what happened in the past and they do know where all your buttons are. And so maybe, uh, putting something in place, right? That is an amazing strategy to
Right.
do.
Yeah, writing it down is
Mhm.
always easier than sometimes that face to face, you know,
Sure.
because at some point you have to realize that while you're not in love with that person anymore, there
Yeah.
was still love at that time.
Sure.
And love and hate is a fine line. I had a client tell me that one time. At what point are you stepping over that line
Sure.
where you have children out of love and now, you're crossing into that you really
Uh-oh.
don't hate them. It's the communication, or it's the situation, or it's the process that is in play that you
Sure.
hate. And
Yeah.
being aware of that and taking that out of the picture
Yeah.
will help that alleviate the competition.
Well, and this is why you're such an amazing coach, because you know how to do that and help people take another look, because sometimes you can get caught up in situations, and especially when the kids are there, right in the middle of it, to where you can't see any value in the X, and yet there's something. So it's a matter of being able to refocus on what's positive, that they do bring, and acknowledging that for sure, because it changes your vision.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
being on a united front as a
Yes.
family, and your team, the rules are still there. Your team has changed. And so
Yeah.
now you have to look at your new family as your new team, and
Mhm.
what are their strengths, and what do they bring to the table, and how can you make your team bigger, better, stronger, and
Right.
still, not win the game, but come out of it on the other end, still loving each other and be grateful
Right.
for the opportunities that you have and the new
Oh,
blessings, your bonus
yeah.
kid.
That's
Yeah,
right. And it is all about the kids. It's really, facilitating the communication that can help your children thrive and create a
yes,
spirit of cooperation out of what was once competition. So,
right.
yeah,
Yes.
well, great to know. Hey, listen, if you are part of a blended family and you need a little help, Coach MaLinda is the one you need to reach out to, and she can be found at blendedfamilyparenting.com. And so, MaLinda, thanks so much for joining us and with your great advice and strategies for these blended families.
Thank you so much, Rhonda.
You
I love our
bet.
talks. Okay.
I know. Great job. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us, everyone. Rhonda Boyle here with Coach Talk TV. And you can find more interviews with other coaches at coachtalk.tv. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye bye.